Ha ha ha. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Thtman.x. As you see, I'm back with another reaction video. And today we react to the greatest NBA draft class. They're talking about that LeBron class, that Melo class, that Chris Bosh class. I don't know who else was in that 2003 class. All I know is that they was all drafted before I was born. But like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff we want to see. The greatest draft class in NBA history. Let's do it. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff we got to do.
Many consider the 2003 NBA draft to be the most stacked of all time. Four
And
out of the
Dwayne Wade.
first
Damn.
5 picks became Hall of Famers,
Damn.
while the odd man out became a historical bust. But
Damn.
with 9 All-Stars, arguably the greatest player of all time, one of the best shooters ever, and a record 27 players who spent 10 or more years in the NBA, the 2003 class was one of the deepest drafts ever.
You have some other classes that produced, multiple Hall of Famers, but I think if you look at the depth of 2003, that's where it sort of edges out the other class.
Yeah.
From legends to
Let's get it.
all-stars and quality rotation players that won 27 NBA titles combined, the 2000
That's a lot of chips. I ain't gonna lie. It's a lot of chips.
2003 class had it all. This is the recap of the legendary 2003 NBA draft, a class that made history and had arguably the worst draft day fashion of all time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
Before the
I'm gonna lie, they
2003
drew back in
draft
the day
lottery
was
took
horrible.
place, there was an unusual buzz about the next crop of rookies. Not only was there a lot of talent in the draft, but the NBA was at a crossroads, desperate for some new superstars. After Michael Jordan retired for good in April of 2003, there was
Damn.
a scarcity of marketable young stars, and the league was
So LeBron and Michael Jordan never played against each other. I thought they played against each other at one point.
losing money. Thtman.x, Vince Carter, and Allen Iverson were all playing on bad teams, and outside of the Lakers and their 2 stars, Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, the league didn't have many national draws. The 2003 NBA Finals between the San Antonio Spurs and the New Jersey Nets was the lowest rated in history, with
Damn.
50% fewer viewers than the 1998 Finals. There was a belief, or at least a hope, that a new generation of stars could turn things around. And the 2003 class had several promising candidates. The most talented player in the draft was dubbed the Chosen One. He was arguably the best high school player of all time and the most hyped prospect ever. And even though LeBron James was only 18 years old,
And did I feel like did LeBron like live up to the hype, or did he overachieve his hype? I wasn't born back then. I don't know how hype he was, but to be the chosen one, he kind of did it. Kind of was the chosen one, I ain't gonna lie.
prep to pro superstars like Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, and Tracy McGrady proved that betting on high school kids made a ton of sense.
Just as skilled as Kobe Bryant or Kevin Garnett at the same age, but he is far more physically imposing. And Mike, I'll tell you, I don't think any reasonable basketball person would take anyone else #1 than LeBron James in this draft. It's an absolute no-brainer.
However, if anyone could have taken the #1 spot away from James in the draft, it was the
Melo.
2003 NCAA champion with Syracuse, Carmelo Anthony.
Everywhere I go, why people want to say LeBron and to me, I get tired of hearing that name, to be honest with you. Deep down inside, I just be wanting to explode, like, please don't say that name to me anymore. I don't want to hear his name.
Melo
They was
averaged
beefing at one point?
22 points and 10 rebounds as a freshman. He won the award for the most outstanding player of the Final Four, and if there was a sure bet in the draft, Melo was it, as he was widely considered the best scorer in college basketball. However, despite Anthony's talent and accolades, the European prospect Darko Milicic showed arguably an even bigger upside.
Darko comes out of
that the
nowhere
bus?
around that time. You know, we didn't know anything about Darko, so automatically we're like, okay, Carmelo's going to. We know that. So those were the top 2 players in our draft until Darko came in.
Milicic was only 17 years old and was a 7-footer who could shoot from the outside, but was also strong enough
that
to
like
battle in the
Wemby?
post. And with mobile feet and a 7'5" wingspan, Darko showed tremendous defensive potential. Following the success of Dirk Nowitzki, Pau Gasol, and Tony Parker, but also Yao Ming and Manu Ginobili,
Yao
among the
Ming.
NBA GMs, there was a frenzy for international prospects. Just a decade ago,
Money stands tall, Yao Ming. Hey, who sung that song though? Money stand tall, Yao Ming. That song, I ain't gonna lie, it sound familiar. Your money stand tall, Yao Ming. Money stand tall, Yao.
ago, European players were sparse, and
Hey, who
NBA
made that
teams
song, though?
rarely looked outside of the US to find talent. But in 2003, the Euros and other international players were viewed as tactically polished, skilled, and mature players who could contribute right away. And Darko's potential glazed the eyes
what do y'all
of
feel like
almost
the best
every general
flavor
manager
Kool-Aid
in the NBA.
Darko Milicic is an intriguing prospect because he's 7 foot tall, he's a left-hander, and he is long and very skilled, perhaps the most skilled big man in this year's draft. He can get up and down the floor, and when you talk about the combination of size and skill, Darko Milicic has a chance to be great. That makes him very intriguing.
Before the draft lottery took place, the general consensus
Okay.
was that LeBron, Darko, and Melo were the top 3 prospects. Chris Bosh was viewed as a talented big man, but he was projected
Bosh.
to go anywhere between 4th and 10th in the draft. While
Damn.
Dwayne Wade, despite a spectacular March Madness performance and leading Marquette to the Final Four, was rarely mentioned as a top 5 pick.
Chris Bosh and I had the same agent, Henry Thomas, rest in peace. And I knew Chris Bosh was going to go forth to Toronto for some reason. I just felt like, okay, he's going forth. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, I'm projected to go anywhere from 4th to like 20.
Most
Damn.
analysts predicted that LeBron would be selected first overall, but some news outlets even projected Darko to be chosen at number 1. Milicic arrived in the United States for the first time on May 19th, 3 days before the lottery. On May 21st, while the Pistons were getting ready for Game 3 of the conference finals against the Nets, Darko had a workout in front of all the Pistons executives, coaches, and most of the players.
The Pistons were there that day purely because they were playing the Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals later that evening.
Okay.
The plan was for Darko to run the floor a bit, shoot some jumpers, go through a few drills, and call it a day, as he was still battling jet lag and looked exhausted. But then, Milicic turned on the engines and everyone...
Hold up. All right, I'm back.
Everyone's jaw dropped to the floor. The 17-year-old center was hitting every hook shot from left and right, and the ball touched nothing but net. He then put the ball on the floor, crossed over his defender with the agility of a small forward, and attacked the basket with force. On the next possession, Darko threw his shoulder, and the defender bounced off him for another powerful jam. However,
Damn.
the icing on the cake was his shooting, as Milicic routinely made threes from all parts of the floor, something that
Tough.
NBA bigs not named Dirk Nowitzki couldn't do at the time. After the workout ended, Milicic ran laps around the court, showing the Pistons his stamina, even though it wasn't necessary, as they were already beyond impressed. General Manager Joe Dumars' mouth didn't close the entire time. His jaw...
What? What do you mean? Hold up. They basically just said a 19-year-old had his mouth wide open and he was drooling over a 17-year-old? What?
was on the floor. Whenever he wasn't...
What? Mouth open on the floor? What? That's what y'all got in the NBA? That's what y'all got in the NBA? Nah, bro. Nah, man, I can't respect that, man. You a black dude on your knees, mouth open on the floor? Nah.
Writing notes in his notebook, he was whispering quiet exclamations. Damn, that's a freak of nature right there. And he's just 17.
You can end the suspense now. Darko Milicic ring a bell to you?
I've heard of him, and PR Carmelo Anthony would look good in a Piston uniform. I'm gonna be politically correct here. Either one of them would do well with us.
It's Darko, folks. Back to you.
Ben Wallace and Rip Hamilton shook their heads in amazement. We could really use him, Hamilton said. That kid can play. Too bad he can't suit up against the Nets tomorrow. Everyone who saw the workout agreed it was one of the best they had ever seen, and that Darko's combination of size, speed, power, and coordination was remarkable. Will Robinson, a longtime Piston scout, compared Milicic to a young Wilt Chamberlain. And because 15 minutes after the workout, Darko was still running around the gym, they believed he was mature beyond his years, eager to work hard. Right then and there, the Pistons decided they would draft Darko if they got the chance. But to have that opportunity, they still had to have some luck with the lottery ping pong balls. On the same day that Darko had his wonder workout with the Pistons, LeBron James signed a 7-year, $100 million shoe deal with Nike, thus becoming the...
Wasn't LeBron like 17 too? LeBron signed $100 million deals at 17? Damn.
highest paid signature athlete who had never played a second of NBA basketball.
How does a guy like you, who hasn't turned 20 yet, sit there and hit the pillow tonight knowing that you have as much money as you would ever want the rest of your life, yet you still have to be motivated to perform on the basketball court.
I'm out there doing the things that I love to do, and that's play the game of basketball. That's what's gonna motivate me, and playing against great competition every night in and night out is gonna be great. And
you got all this money now. What are you gonna do with your first million?
Buy my mama a house.
And due to the hype surrounding LeBron, Darko, Carmelo, and the rest of the 2003 class, for the first time, the lottery was broadcast in prime time and was a standalone half-hour show.
The first pick in the 2003 NBA draft goes to...
On the day of the lottery, the buzz was tantalizing, with numerous teams hoping to get lucky and select a franchise-changing player. With 17 and 65 records, the Cleveland Cavaliers and Denver Nuggets had the best chances to win at 22.5% each, even though the team with the best odds didn't win the lottery since 1990. But the team that was in the most awkward position on lottery night was the Memphis Grizzlies. After going 28 and 50,
are these like the lottery picks specifically? Like if you're supposed to be like if you're in the lottery pick position, your ball get put in not every 32 team, right? All right.
Before in the 2003
Only if
season,
you're in, like, the
Memphis
lottery
had the
pick
sixth best
position,
chance to
you
get
get
the
put in
top
the lottery.
overall pick. But that's all they could hope for. In 1997, the Grizzlies general manager Stu Jackson traded a future first-round pick to the Pistons for veteran Otis Thorpe. The pick had various protections, but by 2003, the only way the Grizzlies could keep their pick was if it was #1 overall.
The gentleman who made the trade, who I knew real well, and he's a great guy. I would have loved to say to him, how in the hell can you make this?
Ain't that John Stockton? Or am I tripping?
When you're bad, you don't want to risk yourself getting worse. It's just beyond my comprehension.
When the lottery started, the NBA had live coverage of LeBron, Melo, and Darko, as they all waited impatiently to see which teams would end up with the top 3 picks. In the end, the last 3 remaining teams were Denver, Memphis, and Cleveland, with everyone in Detroit hoping that Memphis didn't end up at #1. The first team off the board was the Nuggets, who ended up with the 3rd pick. Memphis was the next team drawn, which caused an explosion of happiness in Cleveland and Detroit, while the Grizzlies GM Jerry West could barely hide his disappointment. It was devastating to the franchise.
Oh, damn, that's Jerry West. Damn, he is the NBA logo. Damn, my bad, Jerry. Thought you was John Stockton.
Franchise not to have that pick. We were able to build a respectable team after that, but just imagine having a player like Mr. James playing for your team. It was unbelievably disappointing. For some of us, we were filled with anger because we were thinking, how could we not have this draft pick protected? Jerry West. Back in Akron, Ohio, LeBron James was celebrating because he knew that he would play 40 miles away from his hometown. When the envelope opened and said Memphis, I don't even remember them opening the one that said Cleveland. Everyone just started yelling and coming over to me and jumping on me. From then on, that night, it was a blur. LeBron.
Cleveland! From Akron, Ohio, I'm sure there has to be a lot of excitement in the organization.
You know, we don't know who we're going to pick yet.
A month after the lottery, on June 20th.
That nigga like the damn devil, don't he?
Who we're going to pick yet.
Like the damn devil.
A month after the lottery, on June 26th,
All
the
32,
2003
huh?
draft started. And as everyone predicted, the Cavaliers selected their hometown hero, who
LeBron.
was wearing a preposterously big white suit.
All right, I'm going to conduct the draft in this after I announce you, okay?
All right. I mean, if anybody can do it, you can.
All right, okay. What are you laughing at?
How you feel when David Stern actually called your name?
That was great. You know, this is a long time dream to finally accomplish this, and it finally showed that the hard work has finally paid off for me.
With the Pistons on the clock, the Nuggets still desperately wanted to trade up to get to the #2 pick. Just like Detroit, the Nuggets GM Kiki Vanderweg was amazed by Darko Milicic's potential, and he wanted to draft a Serbian big man. But the Pistons just weren't that high on Carmelo, as they already had Tayshaun Prince, and they needed a big guy. So, with the 2nd overall pick, the Pistons selected Darko, whose career ended up as the complete opposite of his pre-draft workout. Absolutely, it was a mistake. I could give a dissertation on background research now. After I drafted Darko, from that point on, the amount of background we do on every single player that you see us draft is ridiculous. We do as much or more background than any other team in the NBA because of that. The background on Darko was about 20% of what we do now. Joe Dumars, the Pistons GM. With James and Milicic off the board, the Nuggets didn't surprise anyone with their selection.
The Denver Nuggets select
Carmelo Anthony.
Hey, with the Pistons though, sometimes you gotta take that gamble.
As he had been assured by one of the Pistons executives that Detroit would draft him.
Like to this day, I still think about that.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah. Cause I'm like, they promised me. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we taking you. We taking you. I'm talking all the way up to draft day. You understand?
Damn.
We taking you. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to Detroit.
If he had gone there, Melo likely would have won at least one championship early in his career.
Damn.
It remains the biggest what if of his career.
But like, it would have just been perfect, man. Like, god dang, dog. Like, we still reminisce about that, man. Like, we still don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I say it all the time. I be on him. I said, Brown would have to leave Cleveland a lot earlier than he left. Because they never was going to beat us.
Yeah.
Right.
They never would have beat us. You know what I mean? Like.
But after the consensus first 3 picks got selected,
Damn,
the real
Melo.
mystery began. Who was coming up next? Toronto had the 4th pick, and with numerous high-profile prospects still available, they ultimately selected a power forward from Georgia
Bosh.
Tech, Chris Bosh.
Didn't Chris Bosh have to retire earlier for like
I was
medical
going up
reasons?
against Nick Collison a few times, and sometimes I played better than him, and sometimes he played better than me. But then I went to Miami, and they had the number 5 pick. When it was over, they said, "We like you, but we hear you're going to be gone by our pick." That was the first time I realized I was probably going to go in the top 4. Chris Bosh. Miami had the 5th pick, and their main doubt was whether to draft big man Chris Kaman or guard Dwayne Wade.
At the draft, the night of the draft, there was this story that went around that I wanted to take Chris Kaman.
Yeah, I heard
because
that.
we needed a big.
Big
Because
guy,
Zoe was
yeah.
gone.
Mhm.
Zoe had left the team, and so we needed a big.
And even though he had a great
Zoe was gone. Zoe.
Damn, I tripping. Is this a rich guy fit or this just zesty all around? This gotta be just a zesty fit, right? No matter how much money it is, right? You've been hanging with your daughter a lot.
Had left the team, and so we needed a big.
And even though he had a great year at Marquette, a lot of people had questions about Wade. He was undersized for a shooting guard and didn't have a great
I wonder how
jump
your
shot.
younger
He
self
also
would feel
wasn't
about
a
you
classic
dressing like
point
that,
guard.
Dwayne Wade.
So he attended 12 different workouts with teams to prove himself.
I worked out for like 13 teams, and in a certain amount of days. You know, it was like 15, 16 days of like working out. So I had back-to-back workouts. Some I was great in, some I was terrible in. I mean, we're flying commercial, and we're getting delayed at the airport. You're getting in at 3 in the morning. You up early to work out. So
the day of the draft, the whole day, the whole week, I was just numb. I mean, I knew I did everything I could have did in my workouts.
But one of those workouts happened to be in front of Pat Riley, who didn't even know what Wade looked like. During the pre-draft process, Riley came to Chicago to work out Chris Kaman. And while he was waiting for Kaman to come out for the workout, Dwayne was working out at the other end of the gym with Tim Grover. Pat turned and said, "Who's that? Who's that kid down there?" They told him it was Wade, and Riley was mesmerized by his athleticism.
And I just saw something special. And I say this because, you know, greatness stands out. It just stands out.
Then he decided to take a closer look at the guard. And even though Wade didn't have a great workout with the Heat and was visibly nervous, on the day of the draft, Riley called his trainer, Tim Grover, who also worked with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, to inquire about Wade. But the day of the draft, Pat Riley called me. He said, "All right, Tim, Wade or Kaman, who would you take?" I had worked with both of them, and I was honored that he called me to ask my opinion. I was thinking about it, and the 1984 draft flashed in my mind when Portland took Sam Bowie ahead of Michael Jordan. I told him to take Dwayne, Tim Grover.
So I'm sitting there in the draft room, and I'm like, okay, in my mind, I'm like, the draft starts at the 5th pick. You know, the first 4 I already knew. So I'm like, here we go. Who's going 5? And next thing you know, my agent comes over and he says, "Hey, the Heat about to take you at 5. And I'm just like, what? Like, it was mind-boggling to me that I was about to go to 5th pick in the draft.
He like, don't change your expression because the camera's around. So I'm just looking, I'm just like, something came over my body, I was just stuck. And then my sister started crying, then my wife started crying. I'm like, oh my God. And then David Stern came out like 10 seconds later.
With the 5th pick in the 2003 NBA draft, the Miami Heat select Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne.
With the number 6 pick, the LA Clippers took Kaman, who later became their franchise center and an all-star. The Bulls, disappointed they missed out on Wade, took Kirk Heinrich with the number 7 pick, who turned out to be one of the greatest defensive point guards in the league.
A guy like Kirk Heinrich played me very well. You know what I mean? And people like, well, how can Kirk Heinrich?
He frustrated the hell out of me too for some reason.
Great position defender. Smart, didn't go for shot fakes, didn't go for
Wasn't no
tricks.
punk either.
No, and he was tough. He went back down. He loved defense.
Yeah.
And when I got him,
When I had a game where I scored 40, well, I walked away with my chest poked out. You know what I mean? Because there was so many nights where I had to work hard to get those points. Shout out to Kurt Heinrich, man, just underrated defender.
W. Kurt.
The Bucks then selected solid but not spectacular point guard T.J. Ford at number 8. The Knicks didn't make a good selection, drafting a big man, Mike Sweetney, at number 9, who would be out of the league in 4 years.
Damn.
In the rest of the lottery, the Supersonics did a good job, picking Nick Collison at number 12.
Hey, what draft was
despite
KD?
A limited production, became one of the most
Like
legendary
8?
players for the franchise, spending his entire 14-year career with the team.
Like 8.
The 2003 draft produced numerous American-born stars, but it didn't quite become the international revolution some in the league expected. Including Milicic, 8 international players were drafted in the first round, and 20 were taken overall, both of which were records. However, none of them became stars. The most successful were Boris Diaw, Carlos Delfino, Leandro Barbosa, and Zaza Pachulia, with Diaw winning the most
Zaza.
and Barbosa winning the 6th Man of the Year. That international interest from league executives pushed down some.
That nigga Zaza was a school ooter. School order at his
might have
finest.
gone higher, including future All-Stars David West, Josh Howard, and Mo Williams. Williams was selected 47th overall, but he wasn't the last pick of the draft to make the All-Star team. That
I remember
honor
him.
goes to Kyle Korver,
Kyle Korver, I remember Kyle.
Sharpshooter from Creighton, who got selected 51st overall.
how tall?
Kyle Korver, a 6'7" sharpshooter from Creighton, who got selected 51st overall by the Nets.
The draft night, we were sitting in my dorm room. I was like, looking back, I'm like, I wasn't with my family. Like, I was in my dorm room. Like, this was like, I did not plan this out well at all. I was by myself in the beginning.
Why were you in your dorm room?
Did you not think you were going to get drafted? I didn't know. I actually thought I was going to go up quite a bit higher.
It's easy to see why Korver fell so low, since shooting wasn't viewed as a premium back then, while all the GMs believed his lack of athleticism would hinder Korver's NBA future. Before the draft, teams kept putting me against the best athletes available to see if I could guard him, Korver said. By the end, my confidence was just, I don't know, man. Despite drafting Korver, the Nets never thought much of him, so they quickly traded him to Philadelphia for monetary compensation. And to make things even more embarrassing, they used this money for entry fees to play in the Summer League. And with the leftover money, they famously bought a copy machine.
But it's okay. A couple years ago, that copy machine broke, and I'm still playing.
W. Cow.
It would turn out to be one of the biggest mistakes.
I don't know what
Use this money for entry fees if I could guard him, Korver said. By the end, my confidence was just, I don't know, man. Despite drafting Korver, the Nets never thought much of him, so they quickly traded him to Philadelphia for monetary compensation. And to make things even more embarrassing, they used this money for entry fees to play in the Summer League. And with the leftover
copy machine broke, and I'm still playing.
It would turn out to be one of the biggest mistakes in franchise history, as Korver became one of the best shooters of all time, leading the league in three-point percentage 3 times, becoming an All-Star in 2015, and surviving in the NBA for 17 years. Korver still holds the NBA record for three-point shooting percentage in a single season, after he made a whopping 53.6% of threes in 2010. And even though he went undrafted in 2003, Spanish point guard Jose Calderon holds one NBA record that'll probably never be broken: the highest single-season free throw percentage, set in 2009 with a 98.1% success rate, making 151 out of 154 free throws. Because of its depth and star power, the 2003 draft proved to be one of the best.
This time I'd never be broken. I ain't stepping in the league yet. If I was a little taller, I would definitely win NBA. I'm telling you, gang. I'm athletic as hell, my nigga. I'm like LeBron mixed with Kevin Durant mixed with Steph Curry. I'm a sniper.
Classes in NBA history. The best
Could've been next
drafts,
shot.
like the 1996 class, have a total of 37 All-NBA selections, while the 1984 draft made the All-NBA a whopping 47 times.
Damn.
2003 wasn't far behind, with 36 All-NBA nods, largely thanks to LeBron, who holds the NBA record with 21 All-NBA teams. 9 different All-Stars also ranks among
So
the best
LeBron
results
carrying a
ever,
whole
as only
class.
5 different classes had more All-Stars than the 2003 crop. The same goes for Hall of Fame. Each year, roughly 2 Hall of Famers enter the NBA on average. And with 4 Hall of Famers in this draft, the 2003 class ranks 5th all-time. But even though the 1970, 74, 84, and 96 drafts produced more Hall of Famers, the 2003 class edges them in terms of depth.
memorable.
From 1984 to 2014, an average of 19 players per draft had 10-year NBA careers. The average NBA career is just 4.5 years. And if a
Damn.
player lasts more than a decade, that's rare. In 2003, 27 players played for 10 or more years, the most ever. And this class also has the most players with career win shares over 25, a stat that measures productivity over time, proving that the 03 class was the best in terms of longevity. The 2003 class also yielded 3 scoring champions, the best mark ever, and has the most champions in this century with 27.
A lot of success.
If Darko wasn't such a
I don't know what the
hothead
hell he said.
with 27.
He said championship.
If Darko
He said
wasn't such a
championship.
hothead and actually
Championship,
gave a damn
my
about his
friend.
career, this draft class could have been even better, with easily the best top 5 picks of all time. But if we were to do a redraft, the top 5 picks would look fairly similar to what really happened. LeBron should have been the first overall pick, followed by Dwayne Wade, whom the
Wade,
Pistons
yep.
should have
Then
drafted
probably
with the
Bosh.
second pick.
No, Melo,
Carmelo
Melo.
would then stay with the Nuggets at number 3, while Chris Bosh would have ended up with Toronto at number
Yeah.
4. The 5th best player in this class was probably David West, originally the 18th pick, followed by Josh Howard, who was selected 29th overall. Howard was a one-time All-Star, and he averaged 18 points per game between 2006 and 2009, before an ACL injury derailed his career.
Damn.
Kyle Korver should have been drafted at number 7, while Chris Kaman, Kirk Heinrich, and Mo Williams
Kirk.
would round out the top 10. For the rest of the lottery picks in the redraft, we go for Boris Diaw, Leandro Barbosa, Zaza Pachulia, and Kendrick Perkins, who for a while was one of the best rim protectors in the NBA. And because this class also had James Jones, Jason Capono, and Matt Bonner, who were all tremendous three-point shooters,
Bang.
serviceable forwards like Carlos
Bang.
Delfino, Michael Petrus, and Luke Walton, and solid guards like TJ Ford, Luke Ridnour, and Dante Jones, it was really hard to go wrong in the 2003 draft. The only big losers were the Knicks. And, of course, the Pistons, even
Yeah.
though they won the championship in the following season, with Darko playing a total of 14 playoff
Bang.
minutes that season, scoring 1 point and 3 rebounds. But even with Milicic becoming a bust, the 2003 class was one of the most successful.
Nigga, I could have done that. I probably would have got 2 rebounds though. If y'all need me to just hit a free throw a game, come on, bro.
Ever, and will forever remain one of the most legendary draft classes of
For
all
that
time.
stat line, I'm just
Thank you for
bro.
watching.
Put me in the
And
game.
if you
I'm
want-
driving. I'm getting fouled. And I'm shooting a free throw game. I can average 2 points a game, bro. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Hey man, shout out to the 2003 draft class gang. Birthed a lot of legends, bro. They lucky I wasn't born back then. I probably would have probably been the first baby drafted. No cap. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff.